What is going on, people? This is the JT Sports Show. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Live Golf, and I brought on a special guest to talk about that, the one and only Cole Nasby, who is currently driving in a car after he was at a golf course. So we're going to talk about the Live, what happened today in the first round, maybe some possibilities of what the PGA Tour could look like in the future, and then I'll say goodbye to him. I'll talk a little bit about the Twins. They beat the Yankees last night. They lost the night before. The Wolves just made another hire in the front office. Their front office is absolutely stacked now. And then I'll give my bet of the day, and I am currently ice cold. So, Cole, thank you for coming on. What were your thoughts on the first round of the Live Golf? I don't even know what to call it. Charles Schwartzel is leading at 5 under. Some guy named Henny Du Plessis or something is second place. What are your overall thoughts?
Oh, thanks for having me. First of all, I was pleasantly surprised about how well the production was. I got up this morning, logged on just as a golf fan, interested to see what it was like because I mean you hear all about it, but you don't really know how it's going to go.
Yeah.
And I actually was really surprised, and I actually enjoyed watching it. I mean, I felt like it to me. It felt like a better ran version of watching European Tour golf. I think sometimes if you turn on Golf Channel mid-morning on a random like Saturday or something, you find the Dutch Open or something that you're not really interested in. And it's a lot of players you don't know, but that's just what's on. And I thought that, I mean, once in a while hear like you've heard of some of them, and obviously this has bigger names and more familiar names, but I thought a lot of shots with little interruptions was a lot of fun, and I didn't really consider even turning on PGA Tour Live to watch the RBC, even though I care more about the PGA Tour. I just thought the way that they did it was a lot more fun to watch than what the PGA Tour currently has with PGA Tour Live.
Yeah, I do not disagree. And I think more and more, and you could disagree with me, but as the weeks go on and more tournaments are played and bigger names go into the Live, which is expected to happen, I am scared for the PGA Tour. I
I
think
agree.
there is way too many tournaments like the RBC or the 3M Open or the John Deere Classic or the Barbasol where and there's not a ton of these live tournaments, but when they're being played, they're just totally going to overshadow what's going on in the PGA Tour. I would be very interested to see. Well, this tournament's different because it's in London, it's early in the morning. But if it's in Portland, for example, and the play is being later in the day, overlapping with the main coverage of the PGA Tour on Golf Channel, I'd be interested to see what the viewer ratings are. But my guess would be that the Live would be much, much higher, especially if more players go. I want to ask you about the future of the PGA Tour. If players like Bryson DeChambeau, who's supposedly going, Patrick Reed, maybe Ricky, DJ's obviously gone, Phil, Louis, Kevin Na, Sergio,
Matthew Wolf,
yeah,
he was one that's
Kokrak.
announced today. Bubba, most likely, it sounds like. I mean, they added him in that promo video, and he was originally rumored.
Yeah.
And with his injury, it makes sense why he isn't already there. But he looks like he's going to be out for a while with that injury. But come October, November, I mean, their season might be over by then. But be ready for him next year because I feel like he'll be joining up with them.
Yeah, but with that
He'll
being
be on
said,
tour.
all of those players, even have to think more will go. Like it looks like it's pretty well run. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know if the players
and
are
I
being
think
told to speak highly of it, but they seem to all be happy, probably because they're making
yeah.
so much money. But if
Well, I
it's
think they're also feeling like a brotherhood of rebels right now. Like
yeah,
they mentioned so many times on that thing that they've never seen so many competitors going against each other, but like so happy to be together in the thing. And I think it's partly because they all got so much crap for it, and like everybody was hating on them. And once they finally got there, they all felt like they were going to ride through it together, and ended up being better than what most people thought. So they are all like firing each other up about it.
yeah, I think at some point the PGA Tour is going to have to come to the realization that they almost have to not necessarily partner with the Live, but be more open to it because, like I said, I think more players are going to go over. Like for example, Taylor Gooch, him playing in this tournament is just awkward. Like it's clearly for the money.
He's
Like
well,
he
he's the middle ground. It's like you see almost all, like, most of them are like an Ian Poulter, Lee Westwood, those guys. They're
Yeah.
old, they're at the end of their career.
Yeah.
And, or there's maybe the few Asian tour players that are going there because they're good players that are unrecognized. And then there's like DJ. And
Yeah.
like Phil's kind of like a double dip between a big name and an older guy. But I just, when that came out with no other people besides like a Taylor Gooch, I was really surprised to see him because he has such a bright future ahead of him, and it seems like he's just starting to play his best golf. And I was just, I mean, yeah, I know he probably got paid a lot. It was just shocking.
Well, it clearly shows what his priorities are, and that is money. Because, yeah, you're right. It's either old guys.
I just think, yeah, I mean, after seeing Monahan, the commissioner's statement today, I think that actually is going to come back to hurt him more because they just sounded like they were like freaking out and like trying to act all tough when in like it just wasn't that scary. And also they something about it, like there's a sentence saying it's all about the money, 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 and more money. It's like, well, yeah, that's also, look what you guys have been doing with the PIP and that type of stuff. You're just trying to throw more money into it. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think the way this is going, and after just today, I could be going from one side to the other, but I would be really worried if I was a PGA Tour because the biggest thing that this comes down to is now that it's going well and people are going to, I would like to see what social media says after this first week, but people, my guess, are going to be more accepting to the tour. I think that more players will start to go, and as the dominoes fall, these PGA Tour events, although nobody really wants to watch a John Deere or a Barbasol or an RBC really that much, a lot of the tournament fields are going to start being that quality because of the players being gone. And then you get to the point of sponsorships not wanting to spend the 8, 10, 12, 15 million a year to have a tournament and title sponsor it when their fields are awful. So it's going to come back. I don't know how this is going to happen. I think the only hope for the PGA Tour is that they can somehow get all the majors to jump on board with them and ban the players from playing those. Because I think as long as the players are able to play in the majors, I think they're all going to go. Because some people also said, like, why don't the tour players play in both, like, PGA and the LIV? Well, even if they allowed that, starting next year, it sounds like they're gonna have like 14 events. If you play 14 events plus the four majors, that's 18 events. Most of those tour players are only playing 15 to 20 events.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't think they're gonna try to go through the process to play 2, maybe 3 more events on the PGA Tour. So we'll have to see what happens. But I would say if I would not want to be Jay Monahan or anybody in that PGA Tour right now because it does not look too good.
Yeah. Last thing, and then I'll let you go. Monahan came, I guess, right after all the tee shots were hit this morning. He said they came out with suspensions. What do you know? What I was trying to do research. Is it just like indefinite at this point, or did they?
So what they said was they currently, well, their quote was that they're suspending all current and future LIV players, and then they never mentioned a timeline, and they at the bottom of it just listed the players that had PGA Tour status and if they've resigned or not.
Yeah.
And from what the only thing that I guess was shocking, because so a lot of people were saying, well, the PGA Tour can ban these people, but every tournament gets 3 to 5 unrestricted sponsors exemptions, which means they don't have to have status or anything. So that means these players could come back and play a few events if they got a sponsor exemption. But that's something that Monahan added to it, is that they're not allowed to get sponsors exemptions either. So that was the only surprise. But I think from what a few people said that I read, they are keeping it open to the specific range of suspension, because I think this is something that's going to have to go to court. Yeah. And if they get too specific with how long it's going to be, then it makes it harder for them to win. I think for now, they want to see how this LIV thing all turns out and then go on from there.
Yeah. All right. Well, it'll be very interesting to see what happens within the coming weeks, especially in the Portland event, who commits to it, because obviously there's going to be more names, more big names, maybe more Americans because it's in the U.S. But Cole, thank you for coming on. I know you are an elite golf mind, and I will see you later.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Peace. All right, that is Cole Nasby talking about the Live Golf League this morning. Was the first round, like we mentioned. Charles Schwartzel is leading. I'll give you a few notable names on the leaderboard. Let's see, I had it pulled up here. Gonna have to pull it back up. Ian Poulter 5 over. Graham McDowell. Let's see. This is the wrong website, but Phil Mickelson shot 1 under par. Dustin Johnson shot 1 under par. Both T7. A lot of no names here. I mean, Brendan Grace 2 under. Justin Harding 2 under. Those are guys that some people may know, but not a ton of big names in this field. Like I said, and like Cole said, there will be more big names coming soon, whether it's Matthew Wolff, Pat Perez, Ricky, Bryson DeChambeau, Patrick Reed. A lot of names, speculation of who's going to play in the next event in Portland, Oregon. I believe it's later this month. So that will be very, very interesting. And the PGA Tour has to realize what is happening right now. And like I said earlier, I think they may need to almost partner with them at some point because I think this could get ugly very, very quickly. Let's move on. The Twins. They split 2 games against the Yankees in the last 2 days. The first game, they lost 10-4, I believe. Jameson Taillon pitched for the Yankees. Who was the first pitcher for the Twins? Oh, Cole Sands. Hold on, we're going to fix this real quick. Yes, Cole Sands pitched for the Twins in game 1. Twins lost. They were holding on really, really nicely. Hitting was been very, very impressed with the hitting these first 2 games because this Yankees pitching staff has been the best in all of the big leagues. Taillon was on fire. I believe he had 2 straight 8-inning outings coming into the Twins, and he only pitched like 4 innings, letting up 4 runs. Also a career high in hits against him. Last night, Nestor Cortez, he's been maybe the best pitcher in all of baseball this year, and he only got through 4 1/3 inning. He let up 4 runs. Byron Buxton, he had a home run. Ryan Jeffers, he got off his slump. The Twins had a massive victory last night. Chris Archer was fantastic. This Yankees lineup is something to be reckoned with it's Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, DJ LeMahieu. All of these guys can absolutely mash. Gleyber Torres, not to mention him. Those guys can mash. And Chris Archer, who has been a bit of a struggle bus this year, not necessarily in giving up runs, but going late in outings, he gave him 5 innings. And that's all you can ask for from Chris Archer, who's had a bunch of injury issues. I believe he hit 97 on the gun last night, so that's very impressive. But all in all, the Twins are absolutely in the place they want to be going into the 3rd game of the series, splitting 1-1. If they could win 2-1 in this series, that's amazing. I mean, the Twins pitchers who they haven't had in this series and who the Yankees have had is something to be impressed with because Joe Ryan not available, Sonny Gray not available. Although Carlos Correa came back last night, I believe he had 2 hits. That's fantastic news for the Twins. He was DH last night. I'm guessing he'll be out in the field at shortstop tonight. Byron Buxton had a home run last night. He's back to being close to what he was early in the season. So all is good in Twins territory. Bet of the day. I did not pull up a new slides for this, so we're just going to keep it on this slide. The bet of the day tonight is the Tampa Bay Lightning -125. I've been trying to find value. It has not helped. I believe I'm like 3-6 on the year in bet of the days on the JT Sports Show. So I've been ice cold, but at some point this is going to be turned around. And I think it's tonight. The Lightning are clearly the better team than the Rangers. They have all the experience in the world. Vasilevsky, their goalie, is fantastic. Stamkos is hot for the Lightning. They are on the road tonight, which might leave some question marks, which is why the line is only -125. But the fact that they're still favorites on the road tells me a lot, and I like the Lightning. Right before I started this, some news came out for the Wolves. Dell Demps, former Pelicans general manager for 9 years. He was last year with the Jazz as an assistant coach. He is now on the Wolves front office. He is, let's fix this again. What a buffoonery of me. He is now under the tutelage of Tim Connolly in the Wolves front office. Let me tell you, this Wolves front office is absolutely unbelievable now. You have Tim Connolly, you have Joe Branch, you have Sachin Gupta, you have Chris Finch, who's the head coach. I mean, this whole staff, whether it's coach to the roster to the front office, is Nothing like the Wolves have seen in at least I'm going to call it the best they've ever had. This is the best mesh of front office coaching and roster this Wolves organization has ever had. And after what the Wolves did last year, I can't be anything but excited for this next season, especially with this draft coming up, because everybody knows Tim Connolly, what he's best at, drafting. And the Wolves are the 19th pick. They have 3 second-round picks. It'll be interesting to see if they do decide to trade those second-round picks and package them, or just make 3 selections. My guess would be they try to package at least 2 of them, maybe get a big help with the front court. But nonetheless, this hire by the Wolves, I am ecstatic with, because you can never add enough elite basketball minds in your front office, and Dell Demps is one of those. He was even just in the Adam Sandler movie, Hustle. Another thing, if you haven't watched that movie, it's a great movie. Anthony Edwards is in it. Juancho Hernan Gomez is the main character besides Adam Sandler, as the Adam went over to Spain, found a basketball player. He's a scout in the movie for the Sixers. It's a great movie, all in all. Ant was fantastic as the villain in the movie. I do recommend you check that out. All right. Well, this has been a fun JT Sports episode. We talked a little golf. We talked a little baseball, little basketball, and I gave you the bet of the day of Lightning minus 125 of the Rangers. These hats, I'm not selling these hats, but there are a few JT Sports hats left. If you do want one, give me a DM. We're running low on supply, but if 1 million people ask for them, I'll make 1 million more. So that's all you got to do. DM the JT Sports Instagram, Twitter, or my Twitter or Instagram, the John Tucker 88. Just DM me and I'll get back to you and you can get a hat. Other than that, follow all of our social media platforms, like and subscribe this video, and I hope everybody has a brilliant day.